What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. And as always, I invite you guys to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure you guys remain subscribed because YouTube does all types of freaky things to my channel. And I ain't talking about freaky that makes me feel good, okay? They're freaking me at the drive-thru. That's what's going on. They are freaking me at the drive-thru. You guys might catch that reference. And of course, if you guys want to contribute to the channel, there is a super thanks there, and I thank you if you want to do that. Now listen, I want to get into this topic, guys. I want to say right off the top, Eureka! Eureka on behalf of all of these people out here who are doing all of these properties and everything because they've stumbled on to the formula, something that actually works. It is an antidote for their lack of creativity and bad writing. And it is what I talked about on the other channel, on the other video before. That is their ability to be able to throw up the shields, raise shields to protect them from the righteous criticism that they might want to get for their potential lack of writing and creativity and imagination. And of course, those shields would be the protected class. I've stumbled upon this thing, guys. You must know, I'm sure you know about the concept of a protected class. Okay, let's read about what the definition of protected class is in terms of employment, equal employment opportunity, EEO law. Okay, so it says here, protected class, the definition is the groups protected from employment discrimination by law. These groups include men and women on the basis of sex, any group which shares a common race, religion, color or national origin, people over 40, and people with physical or mental handicaps. These people are protected by law from discrimination when it comes to employment, okay, and employment opportunities. Every U.S. citizen is a member of some protected class and is entitled to the benefits of EEO law. However, the EEO laws were passed to correct a history of unfavorable treatment of women and minority group members. Okay, so this law specifically is made to protect women, minorities, people with mental or emotional handicaps, ageist, people who get above 40, and they're elderly. There are laws protected on the books. There are laws on the books that protect these people from being discriminated against unfairly in the workforce. Now, here's the thing, guys, because here's where it gets twisted, I think, throughout history. There's nothing wrong with protecting people who have historically been discriminated against, okay? However, what has happened is a lowering of expectations and standards where you give these people, under the guise of EEO law, you give these people a head start. You give these people an unfair advantage. I think the equal in the equal employment opportunity, that equal has been lost. I think anyone who respects themselves, they don't want a head start necessarily as much as we fought for equal opportunity and to have equal footing and to be judged equally according to qualifications. Because if you just lower the expectations to accommodate these people, well, then none of us are going to be better off for that. That's like saying, hire me to be a doctor because you need more black doctors, knowing damn well I am not qualified to be a doctor. If you come to me for a life-saving operation, you gonna die 100% of the time. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, okay? And I can admit that. I am not that insecure where I'd be threatened by such a thing, okay? So anyway, that's what's going on as far as protected class. Now, the funny thing about this is that I believe that Disney, I believe that Amazon, I believe that all of these people who are holding these properties that we hold dear have adopted this particular philosophy when it comes to how they're marketing their products now. They put protected classes in the starring roles of these shows, and they put them out there in front of marketing so that it protects them more than it actually protects the profession and the professionals and the stars. So they're using the protected class to protect their products, I think, is what's going on. So we talked about this with the whole Reva thing and Kenobi. You see it going on all over the place, Rey and Finn and all of these people that they're throwing out there, these characters but they're not giving them an actual substantial character. It's just the fact that they're throwing them out there. So if anybody has any criticisms about that character or about that show or that movie, they immediately charge their critics with being racist. Okay, because now we have protected ourselves by putting these characters out there, even though they're not really committed to making these memorable and legendary characters. So the latest example that we have of this would be She-Hulk. Okay, and they're already starting with this whole prepare yourself for the misogyny, for the sexist backlash. So we have this article here that I'm going to point out to you that is on CBR.com, and the headline says, She-Hulk is already getting flack for being a female-led show. As if we haven't had female-led shows before, guys. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, will soon be coming to Disney+, but the series has already started receiving misogynist and sexist comments. I should point out to you right here, guys, there are no examples of this within this article, all right? Spoiler alert. They're talking about these misogynist, sexist comments, but they're not giving one example of that. And we've seen that before. Kelly Marie Tran, anyone? How many years later? We're still waiting to hear about what happened there, and the proof and the receipts. We don't get that ever, but that doesn't stop them from being able to make that charge. She-Hulk Attorney at Large is part of a wave of Marvel projects coming to the small screen. Unfortunately, the series has already been met with criticism, the majority of which stems from genuine concern for the project's success. Okay, you can stop there. If the majority of the concern is for the project's success and, legitimate concerns, then why would you even be, throwing this other thing out there? Why would you be focusing on it? However, there are those who are bashing it solely because it focuses on a female superhero. She-Hulk Attorney at Law, starring the perfectly cast Tatiana Maslany, is about the life of Jennifer Walters, a single 30-year-old who just wants to be a lawyer, but then due to certain events starts turning into a green hulking figure. Now she has to find her way in the world with the help of her cousin Bruce Banner, who possesses similar abilities. The show's trailer sparked a debate around the character's supposed lack of muscles and about the show's CGI, which fans have been told not to worry about. They told you not to worry about it, so stop talking about it. As long as they tell you to, just do what they say. However, this has not stopped fans from being excited about its release. Amongst those debates, other criticisms have also emerged, which are different because they are steeped in misogyny. Now, here is probably where you should put some examples of what that misogyny is. But we are being denied that for some reason. They won't give that to you. But for the sake of the article, we'll continue. The MCU is being accused of pandering to the left because this series stars a woman. Really? I haven't seen that. This is laughable as most of Marvel's projects have only featured male protagonists in the past. These comments are also grasping onto the show's liveliness and ultimately criticized it for being too feminine and sex positive, as shown by Jennifer's Tinder swiping in the trailer, which is actually what makes the series so appealing to so many. That would be a matter of opinion. It says here, Marvel has also been accused of replacing its male characters with female versions. I don't know if it's so much that Marvel has been accused of that as that is exactly what's going on. That is an actual fact. This is something that Kevin Feige actually said years ago that they wanted to do with the next phase. They wanted to make it more female-centric. Okay, so going on here. Let's see. This is despite Jennifer Walters having existed in the comics since the 1980s, meaning she's a well-established character in the universe. The series is a crucial piece of media that focuses on a muscular woman on her own superhero journey. There aren't many characters who currently provide this sort of representation, except for Luisa from Encanto, and both of them have also faced controversy around their muscular builds. Okay, so like I said, guys, Kevin Feige actually said this. You see this with the new phase. For every so-called male superhero, we now have a female replacement. And this is what Kevin Feige said a long time ago. But I also want to highlight something else that Kevin Feige said real quick. Okay, bear with me. All right, Kevin Feige made the observation that historically he doesn't believe that this sexist, misogynist thing has been a real issue when it comes to the way female-led shows are perceived. Let's get into what Kevin Feige said back in February 2018. Yes, your boy is just that good. I go back, man. This is journalism at its finest. So this is back in 2018. In an Entertainment Weekly interview, Kevin Feige had to answer a question on what took so long to get to female-led superhero movies. Kevin Feige says, I think there's a lot of reasons, not the least of which was fighting for many years the erroneous notion that audiences did not want to see a female-led hero film because of a slew of films 15 years ago that didn't work. And my belief was that they did not work because they were female-led stories. They did not work because they weren't particularly good movies. Okay, boom! Let's read that again. Kevin Feige on why it took so long to get female-led superhero movies made. I think there's a lot of reasons, not the least of which was fighting for many years the erroneous notion that audiences did not want to see a female-led hero film because of a slew of films 15 years ago that didn't work. And my belief was always that they did not work. They didn't work not because they were female-led stories. They didn't work because they were not particularly good movies. Okay, so there you have it. Kevin Feige is telling you that it wasn't because we were mad because there were female-led movies. We were critical of the fact, justifiably, that the movies were not objectively good. So what has changed now, I would ask? Well, it's because now they're making the female-led movies that are not particularly good. So the audience hasn't changed. The audience will always be critical of these films. I don't care who's making them. I don't care who's starring in them. You act like male-led superhero movies haven't been bombed, haven't been trashed by the critics. There will always be people who are going to be critical of the product that you put in front of them. So now the only thing that has changed is that because Marvel and Disney are making them, now all of a sudden they get to demonize their audience by calling us misogynist and sexist and racist and all of that. So they throw up their shields, they throw up their protected classes, and they dare you to say something negative about their terrible shit movies. And when we do, they're ready for us with the answer. You are misogynist, racist, sexist, all of that. But you just heard it from Kevin Feige. Historically, these movies weren't good. They were acknowledging that they weren't good. So the audience had the right to say that. Only difference now is that they're making the shit movies. So now, of course, we don't have a voice. So guys, there it is. In the dawning or the eventing or whatever you want to call it of She-Hulk, in the run up to the release, they already have put up the shields. Okay, they're ready for us, and whatever criticisms you might have, dude, it just takes the fun out of all of this. You know what I mean? It really, really does. If you can't judge something and you can't see something, not only to praise it, but to say where it might have fallen short, that's all part of the experience. But they want to deny that by throwing it out there that we're the worst in humanity. Okay, so here we go again, guys. And it's funny because the show hasn't even come out yet. Just like with Obi-Wan, before the show even came out, they had this set up. Let us see the product. What are you afraid of? Let us see the product, and then you'll get the criticism. Oh, but that's what they're afraid of because they're trying to sell their streaming services. That's what the issue is. But anyway, guys, let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.